Exactly 2 years ago today, the Potomac River flooded this area of Georgetown, affecting these businesses that you see here behind me. But today, these businesses are back open again to patrons. Snowstorm Pax has been the biggest snowstorm yet on record for 2014, dropping over 3 feet of snow across the Northeast. We'll show you coming up how this snowstorm has caused many people to run to the store and grab a shovel to start digging out. This is Emily Sporn here. I'm right outside Ross Hall, where GW just received a $1.9 million grant from the NIH to fund scientific research. I'm standing right in front of the White House, where police have amped up security because a little 6-year-old girl was tiny enough to slip right through the cracks of the front fence that you see here behind me. She ran around the lawn before police were able to catch her shortly after. I'm standing here right in front of the Washington Monument, where tourists are gathered around, really excited for it to open back up again. Back in the fall, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake hit the monument, cracking it in over 150 different spots. On May 12, it's slated to open again to the public.
Across the country, around the world, disbelief was the first reaction.
The JFK assassination dramatically altered the news industry. It is only fitting that the Newseum, the Museum of News here in Washington, is featuring how reporters covered that tragic day 50 years ago.
Here in the Three Shots Were Fired exhibit, we focus on the story of the assassination and specifically how reporters and news media covered that tragic event.
Jonathan Thompson from the museum showed me around the exhibit. As I walked in, a teletype machine from UPI caught my eye. UPI was the first news outlet to report President Kennedy had been shot.
It's really when TV came into age. Before that, it had really been newspapers and radio had been the primary means of news gathering.
Thompson showed me his favorite piece in the exhibit, the Bell & Howell 8mm camera Abraham Zapruder was using when he captured Kennedy being shot. There was also a board at the exhibit that asked people for their "Where were you?" moment when Kennedy had been shot, or perhaps during another life-altering event.
Museums are putting on the 100th anniversary. Perhaps someday we'll see some of these in those displays.
You can catch the JFK exhibit at the museum now through January 5th. In Washington, I'm Emily Sporn. Students are not sure whether to be elated or disappointed after hearing the announcement that chef and faculty member Jose Andres was chosen as the commencement speaker last week. Many students were expecting someone more prominent or politically oriented.
I think it's good that GW is bringing people from the community, from the faculty, and you have like someone like Kerry Washington who has GW ties, but when you set up a palette of people of national prominence, Rahm Emanuel, Michelle Obama, Michael Bloomberg, you're setting up for people like that to have to give out commencement speeches.
If you are still unsure who Jose Andres is at this point, you are not alone.
No, not at all. I'd never heard of him before. I'd never heard of anything he did or his restaurants, so he completely came out of left field for me.
So far, Andres has declined to comment about his selection to be commencement speaker. He is a prominent chef who owns several restaurants in D.C. and internationally. He also taught a food course on campus last spring.
Hello everybody, my name is Jose Andres and I want to welcome you to this amazing class, The World on a Plate.
Chef Andreas has appeared on numerous talk shows such as Ellen DeGeneres and travels around the world to share his knowledge of food. Although Andreas is not well known on the GW campus, one alumnus of his class, Robert Zanes, wants to remind students that they should not be so quick to assume that a faculty member would not give a great commencement speech.
Sure, you don't have Michelle, you don't have Barack, you don't have even somebody who's Secretary of State or some senator position, but you have great speakers. I know Jose Andres will be a good commencement speaker, and I was pleasantly surprised by Kerry Washington. I'm sure everybody else will be with Jose Andres.
Although not every GW senior can agree on the choice of Chef Jose Andres to be the commencement speaker out here on the Mall in May, one thing every senior hopes for is that he'll definitely show up with some food. For The Source, this is Emily Sporn reporting.